When I was a child, I was always mesmerized by the incredible performance of elite athletes. However, I also remember how disappointed I was when the athlete or the team I was cheering for was not able to win the game. I think it happens with most of us. Through watching the team as the audience, we could glean great ideas regarding the winning strategy while sitting on the couch in front of the television. After performing scientific research in the field of biomechanics and exercise physiology, I got the opportunity to work together with the Hungarian Olympic team between 2014 and 2016 as a human movement scientist. I had to face the truth that a winning strategy is much more complex than what I imagined as a child, as it requires the contribution of coaches, trainers, physiotherapists, movement analyzers, nutritionists, and scientists. Movement analysis, personalized training plans, proper nutrition, and understanding the potential underlying mechanisms are each essential parts of such a winning strategy.
The 32nd Olympic Games, commonly known as Tokyo 2020, was supposed to be held this year in July and August. The Tokyo metropolitan government has set aside a fund of more than $3.67 billion to cover the cost of hosting the Games. However, due to COVID-19 pandemics, the event was postponed to next year. This is the very first time that the Olympic Games have been postponed rather than cancelled. Local organizers and the International Olympic Committee has been working hard to ensure that the postponed Olympic Games will have the same environment and circumstances as what it was supposed to be. This will cost about $800 million to the International Olympic Committee and as much as $2.7 billion to public and private investors. It is a no-brainer that the pandemic significantly affected the economy. However, only a few have considered its effects on the athletes.
Preparation of an athlete happens in year-round periodization that aims to assure the proper adaptation of the athlete's body in order to achieve the best performance in competitive conditions.
The structure of a macrocycle consists of relatively independent elements, namely preparatory, competitive, and transitional phases. We can talk about models of mono, double, triple, and multi-cycle year-round periodizations that are presented in the following figure adopted from Platonov. While monocycle planning consists of one round of preparatory and competitive period before the transitional period, double cycle planning involves two, triple cycle planning involves 3 rounds of preparatory and competitive period before the transitional period. Multi-cycle planning strategies have 2 or 3 whole cycles. Although the most popular and frequently used model in different sports disciplines is the so-called 2-cycle periodization, in the year of the Olympic Games, the most effective model is monocycle periodization with some elements of 2-cycle. On the other hand, in the years when the World Games or World Championships do not take place, elite athletes may follow a 2 or 3 cycle planning.
Periodization consists of 3 types of cycles, namely a macrocycle that refers to the whole season, a mesocycle, which is a specific block within the season, for example the endurance race, and a microcycle, which is the smallest unit within a mesocycle, usually a week of training. Structuring the season with such cycles will assure that the athlete's body is building and regenerating adequately for optimal adaptation. Reaching the peak performance by an athlete may last for 8 to 10 years. Therefore, different kind of year-round periodization should be used every single year.
For example, during 1 year, the athletes may perform maximum of 1,400 to 1,500 hours of training, which amounts to 12 to 15 training sessions in most intensive microcycles, and a total number of 600 to 700 training sessions. In other years, training loads may be reduced to 900 to 1,000 hours of training, which total 8 to 10 training sessions during microcycles of the highest level of intensity and provide a number of 350 to 400 training sessions per year. Although a well-planned training program applied for a few weeks before the main competition may significantly improve sports performance, postponing the Olympic Games forced athletes to change their strategy of year-round periodization that will definitely affect the athlete's performance.
Talking about the performance of the athletes, A winning strategy requires the contribution of many factors, including the application of the most appropriate, complex, and sport-specific training methods. Let's go a bit deeper. Performing a squat is not as simple as you would guess. Squatting is one of the most complex forms of a human movement that requires both the stability and mobility of many joints, muscles, ligaments, and tendons at different parts of our body. The contribution of coaches, physiotherapists, and movement analyzers can help to develop the best person-specific strategy to appropriately perform the movement, which will efficiently support to reach the best performance on the corresponding sport-specific movement. Have you ever participated in any sports competitions? Athletes might be able to reach even better performance in competitive conditions as compared to their own performance during the training sessions. However, it is definitely not a trivial skill for everyone. During a competition, many external factors can negatively affect our performance. Realizing this drop in our performance will in turn further decrease our efficacy. Namely, changes in our balance in response to external disturbances, or the lack of vision due to sweat or a mosquito flying to your eyes, or even the psychological pressure coming from the audience delivered by the supporters of our opponent, are each contributing factors to such a decreased performance. Although these physiological and psychological factors should be considered to be normal reactions by all of us, a well-developed training strategy can help to overcome these issues. Let me give you a practical example. By the way, you don't have to be an elite athlete to apply these training strategies to your regular workouts.
Let's stick to our example of squatting. For all of us, visual information has a significant contribution to balance control. However, have you ever tried to perform a squat with eyes closed? You wouldn't guess, but athletes appear to be more stable when they rely more on proprioception for balancing. Therefore, eyes closed training can help athletes to adopt proprioceptive strategies, which in turn will lead to improved balance control and performance. Good, let's say that you are getting better at squatting with eyes closed. Next step, let's deliver some disturbances to challenge your balance. You can do it at different levels by first applying an unstable surface and then a vibration platform. At each level, the lack of visual information can always help to achieve better balance through developing proprioceptive strategies, which in turn will further improve your sport-specific coordination when you open your eyes. Alright, let's make it even more complicated. Let me challenge you. While squatting on an unstable surface placed on a vibration platform, try to bounce a tennis ball on the wall. When I clap, you have to do it with your right hand. When I snap my finger, you have to do that with your left hand.
And so on. Only your creativity can limit the variety of opportunities which can help you to make your training as complex and sport-specific as you want, supporting the athlete to reach their best performance in competitive conditions.
I hope that it is getting more clear that the appropriate preparation of an Olympic athlete is not as simple as you would guess. Besides the significant contribution of the coaches, it requires the efforts of many other people, including the medical staff, who are responsible for setting up the most appropriate training load with the necessary amount and type of regeneration, movement analyzers, who are responsible for the acquisition and analysis of every single biomechanical parameter that may affect the athlete's performance, physiotherapists, who are responsible for the preventive strategies that help to decrease the risk of developing an injury, or supporting the regeneration of an athlete in case of an injury, helping them to return to the sports practice as soon as possible. Moreover, it is not surprising that athletes regularly attend sport physiological, biomechanical, or other scientific measurements to monitor their performance. On the other hand, data from these measurements are used by data scientists, biomechanists, sports scientists, and exercise physiologists to develop new strategies to help the athletes reaching their best performance. Furthermore, scientific studies are also performed to support this pursuit. It is impossible to talk about each of these contributors in details. However, I would like to mention one more factor that has a significant role to a winning strategy. This is nutrition and the work of nutritionists.
Nowadays, you can hear several kinds of diet, for example, vegan diet, ketogenic diet, eating every 3 hours diet, and so on. While it is not my task to decide which one is the best, however, choosing and applying the most appropriate diet plan is essential for every single athlete, regardless of the type of the sport. Creating a personalized diet plan based on the athlete's characteristics, the type of the sport, the intensity of the training, the type of the year-round periodization, and so on, is not an easy task at all. However, overall, I can tell you that our adequate fat intake is similar to everyone, around 0.5 to 1 gram per body weight kilogram. Our protein intake should be maximized around that 1.5 to 2 grams of body weight kilograms, and our carbohydrate intake is defined by many factors, for example, the intensity of your training. Talking about nutrition, dietary supplementation is also a fundamental part of a winning strategy. I would like to grab the opportunity to make clear for everyone that using dietary supplements is not equal to using drugs or using doping. Last month I visited my barber, who knows that I am familiar with sports sciences. First he hesitated, but finally he asked me whether it is dangerous to drink protein shakes because he has a regularly working out firefighter son who is taking such supplements. He expressed their doubts about taking such a supplement because they saw on the television that athletes who are drinking protein shakes die, most probably due to these supplements. Dear ladies and gentlemen, let me convince you I am not supported by any of these companies. However, taking protein shakes, amino acids, vitamins, or even thermogenic fat burners are not equal to using drugs or using doping. Trust in me, you cannot buy drugs or doping for so cheap. However, dietary supplementation can help the athletes to reach their best performance in every single training sessions. They can regenerate better and they can reach their goal much faster, even if it is gaining muscle or losing fat. Let me give you a practical example here as well.
Let's say that our hypothetical weightlifter athlete has a 90 minutes long training. 10 to 15 minutes before the training, the athlete is drinking a pre-workout supplement that contains caffeine, taurine, and ornithine to support the efficacy and focus during the training. 5 minutes before the training, he is drinking some creatine with some quick absorption carbohydrates to support the athlete with enough energy to lift as heavy as he can. During the training, every single 10 minutes, the athlete needs to hydrate himself or herself with some water and or isotonic drink in order to remain the best performance throughout the whole training. Immediately after finishing the training, another round of quick absorption carbohydrate with some creatine is coming to refill the storages. After this, within 30 minutes, it is definitely worth drinking some protein shake to help the regeneration of the muscles. If you would like to gain weight, you can supplement your protein powder with some banana, peanut butter, oatmeal, and even coconut water. Although you can see that dietary supplementation is an important part of a well-organized preparation, don't forget that an appropriate amount and quality of nutrients are essential parts of a winning strategy. You definitely should have your last meal 2 to 3 hours before the training. However, having some quick absorption carbohydrate like oatmeal or a banana will have beneficial effects on your training. Moreover, although your protein shake will help you to regenerate better and faster, having a meal 30 minutes after the training is also more than necessary. This must include both quick and slow absorption carbohydrates, protein, fat, and also vegetables and minerals. One of the most commonly taken meals by many athletes is basmati rice with some raisins, grilled chicken breast, and some great veggies, for example, broccoli.
Not following the diet plan may have significant consequences on sports performance or regeneration. Therefore, it is not surprising to say that proper nutrition has a primary role on the appropriate preparation. In the last few minutes, I wanted to provide insights into the complexity of a winning strategy. Choosing the most appropriate year-round periodization and applying the most complex and sport-specific training methods requires the knowledge and experiences of coaches. Physiological and biomechanical studies can help to develop new strategies in order to maximize performance, and we also learned that proper nutrition has a primary role for the appropriate preparation. However, most importantly, all of this knowledge, experiences, planning would be nothing without the vocation of the athletes who make daily sacrifices, risking their long-term physiological well-being and also their social life. Therefore, I believe we need to appreciate the effort of athletes and the whole staff that put into the winning strategy. And one last message.
Never forget that bringing exercise or any kind of physical activity to your life will serve you beneficial effects not only for today, but will also contribute to healthy aging, providing a better quality of life by protecting your brain from many diseases and slowing down the degradation processes, which in turn will help to maintain your balance, mental health, and cognitive function.
Therefore, the most important message for today and for the future is to stay active and stay safe.